Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming here today for this special forum or session, which will be held in English because we have guests from abroad. My name is Veronica Veneziano. I am the CEO of the Biodiversity in Good Company initiative, which was created at COP9 a long time ago, exactly to mainstream biodiversity within the private sector. Kann man mich hören? Nur kurz. Ja, okay, gut. The Biodiversity in Good Company was created as one of the very first initiatives or platforms to address biodiversity for businesses within the private sector. And since then, the landscape of business and biodiversity initiatives worldwide has been increasing and growing and getting stronger and stronger. So we have seen that especially our colleagues from the European countries have done a lot of progresses. So we thought maybe it's interesting for us to see what they're doing, how they work, what are the challenges that they have, and how they solve them. So basically today we want to give an overview of our colleagues, as you can see also in the program. Exactly, thank you, Caro. And we will also have a short part at the end for discussion, for a general Q&A questions. Before we really step into the program, we have a small interactive part. I would like you to scan this QR code and to give your opinion on the question, which is, what is the factor that you think makes it worth to integrate biodiversity within businesses? So please scan the code. And is it working? Not working. Perfect. So maybe we can just postpone it at the end, because I think the speakers, we are a bit tight on schedule. Or better to say, we're a bit late on the schedule. So I would just present our speakers. Maybe they can activate their video so we can see them. And I have to look there, otherwise they don't see me. Okay, good. So, good morning. Good morning, Jerome. Good morning, Nicolas. Good morning, Claire. I'm very, very glad. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I think Claire is still missing.
Good morning.
We cannot see you, Claire.
Yes, my camera is missing.
There you go. Very good. Very good. So thank you very much for being here today, for being here and for wanting to share your knowledge. We have picked up 3 countries. Well, more precisely, it's 2 countries plus the European platform, because they have been working on biodiversity since many years and they have really, really a lot of expertise. So I would say we will start with Jerome. Das funktioniert jetzt. Oh, okay, just a short break. Sorry, we had some technical issues. So we have a Slido question for everybody. So maybe everybody can also address the question or respond to the question. The question is, what is the factor that makes it worth to integrate biodiversity within business models? Why? What? The what? What is the factor? What is the element that makes it worth? So, yeah, exactly. It should be intuitive, should be very fast. Yeah, exactly. Okay, while our public is using maybe 10 seconds to address the question, we can really start and opening our discussion. Again, for the speakers, super sorry, we're late on the schedule. Okay, so Jerome, I would like to introduce you very, very briefly. You are the Director for Sustainable Finance, Climate and Biodiversity Policy at ICF, and you coordinate the European platform Business and Biodiversity since 5 or 6 years? I don't remember, but a long time. Since I started, you've been there, and you've done a great job. So I'm super, super happy that you're here. I would just give you the floor for your presentation.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for the kind introduction and for having me today. I'll start sharing my screen, and yeah, I see in the video that it's working, so perfect. I just need to find the right To skip slides, perfect. So, excellent. Well, as I said, thank you for having me. And as you said, I'm Jerome Kisielewicz. I work with ICF. I'm based here in Brussels. And ICF is a private consulting firm, and we work a lot with the European Commission. And one of my main projects that I've been working on actually since 2013, so many years, is the European Business and Biodiversity Platform that some of you might have heard of already. Today, I'll talk through what the platform is very briefly and what it was set up to achieve and where we are at on that journey. And then I'll focus a bit on one of the activities of the platform, which is a network of national business and biodiversity platform that we have created in this kind of active forum for exchange between all these national players, including Claire and Nicola here today on the line as well. And then I'll give a brief overview of the European Business and Nature Summit, which is coming up later this year. So to start with, the platform itself. So the platform was actually initially initiated by the European Commission in the late 2000s with the first phase. And as you can see, and it was then reactivated in 2013. As you can see, we use this curve, the transition curve, to kind of explain what the platform was aiming to do over all this long period of time. So it started very as a small kind of niche forum for exchange on this topic that was at the time very much emerging on business and biodiversity and how to integrate biodiversity into business and finance. And then little by little, it grew and we went through a first of kind of exploring and then engaging more and more with first movers and slowly but surely at reaching kind of a critical mass of first mover. I don't think we can say yet that it's really a full critical mass if you consider the entire economy, but kind of a critical mass of first movers that can then push further towards institutionalization. And in that process, obviously, it's not so linear as you can see here. There are always ups and downs, as you all know, in this type of transition. But it's surely keep progressing and keep moving despite these potential setbacks from time to time. And what we've seen, obviously, is that there has been some key trends from moving from initial understanding of the topic to really implementing, and business really grasping this and setting targets and using frameworks such as Act for Nature in that journey that Claire will talk about in a moment. We've also seen a trend from more voluntary actions to more mandatory environments. Here as well, there are some setbacks, as we know, but still, I think a trend that is continuing. That evolution has also meant a focus initially on sector agnostic guidelines and more general awareness towards more sector-specific roadmaps and transition plan. And then one trend that we've also seen as the EU Business and Biodiversity Platform that was indeed set up quite early on this journey is the emergence of more and more national initiatives that are really creating a link between the corporates that are obviously operating on local level and then the more high-level EU landscape where we operate. And I think that's really something we try to foster, as we do see that business really like to engage with the national counterpart, which also makes sense for them. What we try to do with the platform is to support businesses and financial players at all stages of their nature journey. So this is an image we've built on the project. We value nature, and basically we try to support them with different elements and different approaches through this journey, from basically basic understanding. And we had last week one of our quarterly biodiversity basics webinar where we really just explained the basics. As you had your question at the start of what is the factor that makes it worth for business to think about this. Well, that's what we try to cover in these sessions through activities that are very much targeting the kind of pioneering firms that are very advanced, where we, for example, look in detail at assessing different biodiversity measurement approaches for corporates and finance. So a full suite of support through that journey. Concretely, the platform is structured around 3 work streams and kind of a number of activities that are transversal. We've got one work stream focusing on mainstreaming, where we really try to engage and broaden the outreach of the platform. We've got one work stream that focuses on methodologies and methods at large. That's more technical work stream, where we are, for example, focusing this year on biodiversity measurement in the marine environment to complement the work that we've been doing on corporate measurements in terrestrial environment so far. And then we've got a work stream on finance that is actually managing a very engaged group of over 50 financial players, and that really focus on peer-to-peer learning and collaboration. We then have a number of transversal activities, such as a sector sprint that we've been piloting over the last 2 years. Some key figures. In total, we've got close to 600 members. It's worth flagging that the membership of the platform is quite loose, so there is no very high bar to entry, but we do ask for commitments at the highest level in the company of members that want to join the platform. But it's really open to all. We've got, as I said, an engaged community of financial players, of over 50 financial institutions that are really engaged in a lot of activities. And then an important outreach for us is the newsletter of the platform, where we've got more than 6,500 European that are and beyond actually that are following all the activities of the platform. Here on the right, you can see some key resources. If the slides are shared later, I've put link under each image so you can dive into it. These are some of our recent reports that you might find worth looking at, such as, for example, with the finance community, we've worked with them on designing concrete business models and investments for nature based on their real life investments in nature. We've done last year a report on biodiversity disclosure initiatives. You can see the middle there, the assessment of biodiversity measurement approach for business and financial institutions, which is a report we've done 5 times already, and we keep updating now every second year. And then the sector sprint that we did in 2024, which was focusing on food retail sector. So I will not go into all of these in detail, of course, but just for you to have as reference. So first call to action, I've included a few of these. If you want to become a member of the platform and follow our activities, you can use that QR code now or later to just join the movement and really be part of the platform and its activities. Now, as I said, one of the important activities, or one of our many activities, is this network of national and regional business and biodiversity platform, which is a network that we've set up a few years ago. It started quite informally, and it's still relatively informal, but we meet to a group that has, I think, around 40 or 50 members that spans over 12 European countries. And the objective is really to provide a platform for knowledge sharing and peer learning in that group. It's very much led by the members of the networks themselves. So we don't want to make this a top-down network that we force people to join. So it's really there as a support for all the national platforms. And as you can see, there is a strong bias in our geographical coverage, where we really lack the Central and Eastern European community. So one of our efforts this year, in view of the European Business and Nature Summit, is to try to spread more towards East, basically. So that's something I'll come back to in a moment. As I said, what are some of the specificities of the network? Is that it's obviously focusing on biodiversity, focusing on knowledge sharing and peer learning. And we also try to provide policy updates through the link we've got with the European Commission when relevant. What the network is not is just general on sustainability, so we really focus on biodiversity, of course. We also don't really develop tools or guidance in that group. It's more there to exchange what is being done and what can be created in terms of synergies among the members. And as I said, we don't want this to be seen as just an EU top-down initiative, but really more as an engagement forum for all the national and regional platforms. We then meet on a monthly basis, basically through a 1-hour session where we've got different of the members that are presenting updates about their work. As you can see, we cover a range of topics from training, education, to design of nature strategies, to scaling up business and biodiversity platform and networks, which we will actually be discussing next week with the members, to more sectoral focus, etc., etc. So it's really driven by what is relevant for them. Second call to action of my short presentation. As I said, we are trying to expand towards Eastern and Central Europe. So if you've got any contact, or if you think, or if you're operating in that region, and you think, well, actually, that would be interesting for me to discuss, we'd be very happy to hear from you, as we are trying to really push that on the way to the European Business and Nature Summit later this year. Which brings me to that third point of my presentation. So the European Business and Nature Summit has become over the year probably Europe's largest event to discuss biodiversity within business and finance. We actually had annual conference of the platform since 2014, I believe, but then in 2019, we organized an event that became larger in terms of scale in Madrid, and we started labeling it as European Business and Nature Summit. And since then, it's been organized annually, with an exception of last year, as it was clashing with COP16 and European elections. And it has really grown to a very large and successful event. We actually organized one year with an edition with Claire and colleagues from up here, which was unfortunately online because it was during the COVID period, but it really contributed to growing the the size and the scale and the relevance of the summit, which is now seen also by DG Environment as really their flagship event on this topic, to really gather their stakeholders, both from finance, business, policy making, and kind of all the surrounding environment. So we're very happy to have the summit again this year. It will be organized on 23rd and 24th of October in Helsinki, Finland, with colleagues from Sitra. So Sitra is the Finnish Innovation Fund. And we're obviously very happy to be collaborating with them. They are acting as co-host of the summit. And the focus is really we wanted to really focus the summit on the fact that, nature is there as a supporting element for business competitiveness and resilience. These are obviously the keyword buzzwords in Brussels these days, and we really want to demonstrate that nature is an ally in that, and not certainly not something that prevents these two important elements, of course. The summit, as always, will be a mix of high-level dialogue with C-levels, and then we are very likely to also have the commissioner joining us on site, with also more technical hands-on sessions that will be all structured around three themes. One on business action and how to accelerate credible business action and transformation. One on circular and bioeconomy, and how do these two agenda link to biodiversity and can really support that element of action and transformation. And a third theme on biodiversity finance, which, as you know, is a very important topic to also support business transformation. So we are now in full speed with the organization of the summit, and are very much looking forward to it, obviously. And that brings me to my last call to action, is to save the date, so 23rd, 24th of October in Helsinki. And hopefully you can join us either on site or online to really continue to push and demonstrate the EU leadership on this topic and the commitment to the strong business and biodiversity movement. And I'll stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerome. Thank you very much.